Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The 19th of three treatises by Runge, titled Über die Numerische Lösung von Differentialgleichungen, stands as a seminal document in the history of computational science. It presents a profound intellectual leap in the practical resolution of ordinary differential equations, those ubiquitous mathematical expressions that describe the continuous evolution of systems across physics, engineering, and astronomy. This essay undertakes a direct and rigorous evaluation of the specific claims, mechanisms, and arguments articulated within Runge's 1903 work. Moving sequentially through the logical architecture of his paper, we will analyze the internal coherence of his propositions, the ingenuity of his framework, and the persuasive power of his demonstrations. The aim is to illuminate the specific intellectual achievement of this paper, assessing its contributions based on the explicit content and reasoning Runge himself put forth to the academic world at the dawn of the 20th century. The analysis proceeds by dissecting the core assertions of each part of his work, revealing the elegance and enduring utility of his computational philosophy. Section 1. The foundational premise and the pursuit of practical accuracy. Runge's paper commences with an implicit yet powerful claim that the existing toolkit for the numerical integration of differential equations, while theoretically sound, possessed deep practical limitations for the working scientist and engineer. He framed the central problem as one of obtaining accurate solutions where analytical methods fail, a common predicament in complex physical modeling. The work's opening establishes a clear intellectual trajectory away from the most elementary numerical scheme, the method attributed to Euler. The underlying argument within these initial passages is one of efficiency and precision. Runge intuits and implicitly communicates that a method relying on a single tangential projection across an entire step, as Euler's does, accumulates error at a rate that is prohibitive for achieving high fidelity, without using an impractically small step size. His foundational claim is that a more sophisticated approach, one that samples the behavior of the derivative within the interval, is necessary. He posits that the key to improved accuracy lies in a clever combination of function evaluations that collectively provide a better representation of the true solution curve. This initial framing is a masterclass in understatement. He presents the need for his method as a self-evident consequence of the demands of applied science. The argument is persuasive because it appeals directly to the shared experience of his intended audience, who would have been intimately familiar with the laborious and often frustrating process of applying simpler methods to real-world problems. His claim is therefore one of pragmatic necessity, setting the stage for a solution that prioritizes utility and achievable precision over abstract theoretical completeness. Section 2. The core mechanism of weighted intermediate slopes. The conceptual heart of Runge's 1903 paper is the introduction of a novel mechanism for advancing the solution. His central claim in this section is that a weighted average of several slope calculations, performed at intelligently selected points within a single step, can be constructed to systematically cancel out the lower-order error terms present in a Taylor series expansion of the solution. This represents a radical departure in thinking. Instead of calculating higher-order derivatives of the function, a process which can be algebraically monstrous or impossible for complex functions, Runge proposes using the function itself as a black box. The claim is that by evaluating the function multiple times, one can extract the same high-order accuracy information that the derivatives would provide. He likely begins his exposition with a simpler, second-order case to build the argument. Here, he would demonstrate that by taking an initial Euler step to the midpoint of the interval and then using a slope calculated at that midpoint to project across the full interval, the resulting approximation matches the Taylor series expansion up to the term involving the square of the step size. The underlying algebraic assertion is that the coefficients of this two-step process can be chosen to make the first and second order terms of its expansion identical to those of the true solution's Taylor expansion. This claim is powerful because it replaces the analytical task of differentiation with the arithmetic task of weighted averaging. The mechanism he proposes is an elegant piece of intellectual engineering, claiming that a specific recipe of calculations, for instance, first calculating an increment k1 equals the step size h times the function f of x and y, then a second increment k2 equals h times f of x plus half of h and y plus half of k1, and finally setting the new y value equal to the old y value plus k2, yields second-order accuracy. The argument's force comes from its constructive nature. Runge presents a concrete procedure and demonstrates its superior local behavior, establishing the validity of his core claim through direct algebraic correspondence with the Taylor series. Section 3. The algebraic conditions for fourth-order accuracy. Having established the principle with a lower-order example, Runge proceeds to the paper's most significant technical claim, the derivation and specification of a method achieving fourth-order accuracy. The central assertion here is that by using 4 intermediate slope calculations, it is possible to choose the step locations and their corresponding weights in such a way that the resulting approximation's series expansion matches the true solution's Taylor series up to the term involving the fourth power of the step size. This implies that the local truncation error is of the order of the step size to the fifth power, a dramatic improvement in accuracy. The argument he presents is one of algebraic, constrained satisfaction. Runge demonstrates that this matching process leads to a system of simultaneous nonlinear algebraic equations that the weights and step parameters must obey. The claim is that any set of parameters satisfying these equations will produce a fourth-order method. This section of the paper reveals a subtle but profound insight. The system of equations is, in fact, underdetermined, meaning there is an entire family of possible fourth-order solutions. Here, Runge's pragmatism becomes evident. His claim is twofold. First, that these are the correct governing equations, and second, that a particular, convenient solution to them will yield a robust and effective algorithm. He selects a solution that is both effective and memorable, characterized by a pleasing symmetry in its coefficients. It is a quiet intellectual flex, acknowledging a universe of possibilities while presenting a single, Welch as an exemplar. The validity of his argument rests on the painstaking, if unwritten, algebraic derivation, which, when checked, confirms that his chosen parameters do indeed satisfy the necessary conditions for the cancellation of the error terms associated with the step size, its square, its cube, and its fourth power. He is claiming to have found a specific, practical path through a complex theoretical landscape. Section 4. The presentation of the principal formula and its empirical validation. This portion of the paper serves as the climax, where Runge presents the explicit formulation of his infamous fourth-order method. The primary claim here is that a specific sequence of calculations constitutes a superior tool for numerical integration. He articulates the algorithm directly. First, one computes an initial slope estimate, k1, as the step size h multiplied by the function f evaluated at the current point, x sub n and y sub n. Second, a trial step is taken to the midpoint of the interval using this first slope, leading to a second slope calculation, k2, equal to h times the function evaluated at x sub n plus 1/2 h, and y sub n plus 1/2 of k1. Third, this second slope is used to take another trial step to the same midpoint, yielding a third slope, k3, equal to h times the function evaluated at x sub n plus 1/2 h, and y sub n plus 1/2 of k2. Fourth, this third, more refined slope is used to project across the entire interval, giving a final slope calculation, k4, equal to h times the function evaluated at x sub n plus h, and y sub n plus k3. The final and definitive claim is that the next value of the solution, y sub n plus 1, is best approximated by the current value, y sub n, plus a weighted average of these four slopes specifically, 1/6 of the quantity K1 plus 2 times K2 plus 2 times K3 plus K4. This formula's structure, reminiscent of Simpson's rule for numerical quadrature, is a claim of profound elegance and effectiveness. To substantiate this claim, Runge turned to empirical validation. He would have applied his method to a non-trivial differential equation, one whose solution might be known or be calculated to a very high precision. By other means, the evidence presented would consist of a table of numerical results, showing that for a given step size, his method produces a dramatically more accurate result than lower-order methods. The argument is one of demonstrated performance. The claim of the formula's superiority is supported not by abstract proof within the paper, but by its manifest power in action, a form of persuasion perfectly tuned to an audience of applied mathematicians and physicists for whom results are the ultimate arbiter of value. Section 5. The implicit argument for practicality and error control. In the concluding passages of his 19-3 work, Runge solidifies the overarching argument for his method's practical supremacy. The central claim, woven throughout his discussion and examples, is that the fourth-order method achieves an optimal balance between computational effort and accuracy. Each step requires 4 evaluations of the derivative function, a fixed and predictable cost. For this modest investment, the user receives a method whose error decreases with the 5th power of the step size. This claim has deep implications for efficiency. It means that to achieve a desired level of accuracy, one can use a much larger step size than would be required by a first or second-order method, drastically reducing the total number of calculations needed to integrate over a large domain. Furthermore, Runge's paper makes an implicit but powerful claim about the nature of the error itself. By constructing a method that relies on a weighted average of slopes taken from across the interval, he has created an algorithm that is inherently more stable and less susceptible to the oscillations or wild divergences that can plague simpler methods while applied to difficult equations. There is also a nascent idea of adaptive control embedded in the method's logic. Although Runge does not develop the concept of adaptive step size control explicitly, the comparison between different intermediate slopes provides a natural, if unused, mechanism for estimating the local error. The difference between, for example, the second and third slope calculations contains information about the curvature of the solution. This latent potential for self-assessment is part of the method's enduring genius. His final claim, therefore, is one of robust design. He has delivered a complete, self-contained, and highly effective computational instrument whose internal architecture is not only accurate but also inherently well-behaved, securing its place as a cornerstone of scientific computation. Conclusion. The enduring significance of Runge's 19-3 paper, Über die Numerische Auflösung von Differentialgleichungen, resides in the coherence and practical genius of its internal claims. Through a methodical and brilliantly conceived argument, Runge established a new paradigm for numerical integration. His work's foundational claim of the need for greater practical accuracy was expertly targeted. The core mechanism he proposed, using weighted averages of function evaluations to mimic a high-order Taylor expansion, was a revolutionary conceptual leap that cleverly circumvented the burdensome task of symbolic differentiation. His derivation of the algebraic conditions for fourth-order accuracy and the presentation of his principal formula provided the community with a specific, powerful, and remarkably elegant tool. He validated his assertions not with exhaustive theoretical proof, but with the compelling and persuasive evidence of numerical demonstration, speaking directly to the pragmatic needs of the scientific practitioner. The paper as a whole represents a masterpiece of applied mathematical reasoning, each claim built logically upon the last. From the statement of the problem to the delivery of a fully realized solution, it furnished the world with an algorithm of such robust design and profound utility that it became, and remains, a fundamental component of the computational toolkit, a testament to a mind that saw with perfect clarity how to build a bridge from abstract equations to concrete, numerical truth.
We really appreciate you tuning in to this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.